In the latest chapter of hashtag the cap is a myth, Minnesota Vikings have restructured the contract of star right tackle Brian O'Neill, a.k.a. Buzz Lightyear, per our friend Lindsey Young, and ESPN's Phil Yates reporting the Vikings converted $1.869 million of offensive tackle Brian O'Neill's base salary into a sign-in bonus, creating around $1.5 million in cap space per source. Minnesota was tight on the cap. O'Neill has been outstanding once again this season, and we know that the cap is indeed a myth because... And when everyone saw this, their first reaction was, "Bow God, that's OBJ's music." But probably not, because you do need a couple million in cap space in terms of just this season, right? So guys going on IR, new guys coming onto the 53-man roster that does have to have an offset, or guys being called up from the practice squad to the game day roster, just like Dan Chisena as well as Nick Muse on Sunday. That cost some cap space as well. Plus, a lot of people point out, well, they need to free up space for Hawkinson. Not really, because Hawkinson is only going to count around $300K against the Vikings 2022 cap this year. Because he's still on his rookie deal. Now, next year is a different story, but there's no cap issues with TJ Hawkinson coming aboard. But it is smart as of right now. The Vikings have around 2.259 or 2.26 whatever, million in cap space, and that should be enough to get through a couple of transactions throughout the season. Maybe not enough to re-sign OBJ, but our people over at Spot Rack have already factored that in. O'Neill originally had a $4.4 million base salary, and we've said before, it's fine. What you want to do is you want to have veterans who are in the early part of an extension and veterans that you see as being part of the team for the long term. So that makes sense to restructure a guy like Brian O'Neill, kick some of those cap hits down the road because, of course, Brian O'Neill is going to be here, and we've seen it throughout time. We've seen Kendricks being restructured. We've seen Daniil being restructured. We saw Harrison and Thielen in previous years being restructured. But if they want to find some more money, they're going to have to make a decision. Like, is Kendricks going to be here long term? Is Dalvin going to be here next year? What about Thielen, his future? So if the Vikings do want to make a splashy move in free agency, a la OBJ, a la Ndamukong Suh, or whatever, they're going to have to free up a little bit more money. And they're going to have to kick the can down the road. But like we said, that isn't always the worst thing in the world. But your thoughts are thoughts. Minnesota Vikings free up around $1.5 million in cap space by restructuring Brian O'Neill. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.